Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us go hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Come, my brothers, come, my sisters, and let us build Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This is our home. We have a duty to enhance it. We have a responsibility to make it better for our children and children. I want to welcome you to the hub. Again, we have a moment in time to talk using social media and the radio to connect. Those who are viewing me on Facebook and YouTube, please share the live. Sharing is caring. So take some time and share the live. Tonight, I want to say that the Grenadian people believe, they trust, they know that the NDC is a party who cares for the people of the country. And the reason why many of our people, the different demographics within our society, continue to gravitate towards the NDC is because they know that the NDC will not mama guide them. They know that they can trust the NDC because they have seen this NDC deliver on so many of the campaign promises they made to the electorate. We were accustomed to NNP being in power, making a lot of grandiose promises and not fulfilling them. But they would mamagai the electorate. So the first year of coming into office, they would do some things. Then they would pause. They would stop. The second, third year, that period. And then the fourth year into the fifth year, if so much, many times 6 months before the election, they would be fixing drains, fixing roads, having more debushing gangs, cutting bush on the side of the road. They would be repairing people's homes, doing things for votes. They would start projects in no man's land just for votes with taxpayers' money. That is how they operated. They would take on more Imani trainees and mama guide them and papi show them. That's how the NNP operated. And we grew accustomed to that kind of cycle. But now we have a new style of governance where the NDC is not waiting for when it's close to the election to build a piece of road or to build a piece of drain or to start some program or to build a school or to renovate a community center or to renovate a medical station or clinic or to fix a playing field or to fix a basketball or netball court or to assist people with housing materials, right? or to fix somebody's bathroom and toilet facility, or to give scholarships. And in other words, the NDC is working around the clock. They could have waited to give the police officers pay and grade closer to the election. They could have waited to do a number of things closer to the election. But they are ushering in a new type of governance. This is not mamagism. This is not papi show. This is not electioneering. This is not for votes. So the electorate trusts the NDC far more than the NNP. Because you see, a man's word is his bond. And if you campaign telling me you would do X, Y, and Z, and you deliver on it, I will trust you more. I will believe in you more. Because the NNP, they have rhetoric. They're going to come when the election time is around, and they're going to promise you all kinds of stuff. But can you trust the NNP? We experienced the NNP for 23 years and a half. And we know what they give. Mama guy, papi show, lies. That's how the NNP operates. So we know. We experienced them for 23 years and a half. So they cannot fool many Grenadians anymore. And that is what I love, that Grenadians are waking up. They're understanding that this place is ours and we want to see it better. We want to see the place improve. But in other words, the NNP cannot go to the pensioners who worked in government for years and never received their pension under the NNP. So even if the NNP is on radio programs and platforms talking about they pay pension and they pay pension, the actual pensioner or pensioners, 500 and something of them, who received their pension from that $75.1 million, right? From that $75.1 million that the NDC paid out. The NNP cannot, right? Let me just adjust this AC. The NNP cannot go to these people and say to them, well, we will do better for you. These people are going to boo them. They're going to chase them. They're going to insult them. And that's 500 plus families. It's not just the pensioner. They come from a home. They make up a family. So you're looking at 500 times 5 in some instances. That's 2,500 or so people. And then if you go even further down, their friends who saw the agony and the pain that they were going through, experiencing, fighting in the hot sun, marching in the hot sun, demonstrating in the hot sun for their pension and gratuity, it will be very difficult for them to support the NNP. Because they saw nobody and telling them. They experienced it. They saw what the NNP did to these pensioners, these retirees. They never got their pension. So they know that the NDC cares about them. They're fully aware. Then you have the farmers who, after Hurricane Beryl, and it's about what? How many thousand farmers? It's quite a bit, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. It's quite a bit. It might be even more. I just can't remember the exact amount of farmers who received the payout from the government, the $4,500 or the $9,000. I can't remember the amount. But what I can tell you, it's way up in the thousands. The NNP cannot go to these people and tell them anything at this point. Because after Hurricane Ivan and Emily, the NNP never gave these people anything. They never gave them cash payout to assist them to bounce back and to come back on their feet again. And you talking about families, because they come from a home. They come from a family. You're looking at 10, 15,000 people directly impacted by this payout. So you have to look at the different demographics. That is why these people trust the NDC more. Someone is saying to me, it's way above 5,000 farmers and fishers, right? And I believe it's way above 5,000 who received that payout. Just can't remember the figure. But that's families you're talking about. You have to now multiply that by 5 or by 4. You're looking at about a good 20,000 people directly impacted by this payout and the other support. Because remember, those in livestock, they got additional support. Those doing the CMOS farming, they got additional support. And we can go on and on. The fishers and those who are employed on the boat, right? So the boat owner plus those who are employed on that boat, they got payout too. So the NNP cannot go to these people and tell these people anything. Because when Ivan and Emily passed, NNP never saw the need to help these people. They never did. And then you look at the business, the small and medium-sized businesses. They were assisted with the CES grant. 500 plus small business owners. They were assisted with the CES grant up to $30,000. Money that they don't have to pay back. Right? 30,000. That's a significant amount. And then after Hurricane Beryl, you had a number of small businesses that got assistance and who could access finance, grant, or loan in the Grenada Development Bank. Again, you're talking about hundreds of small business owners positively impacted by this government. The NNP can't go to these people and persuade them thereafter. I mean, everything is not perfect, but at the end of the day, the NDC cares about the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. The 200 plus young people in the Empower Her program. Do you think the NNP could go to these people and convince them otherwise? They come from families, they come from homes. They're not given an opportunity to train, given a stipend, far more than what the Imani trainees were getting. Given a stipend, given the support, given the assistance to start their own business and get on their feet again. Then you have 100 young men and women who are receiving training under the Digital Workforce Initiative. That's 100 families. You multiply that by 5, 6. Just think about it. Families. This is no joking matter. Then you have the Empower program, 400 plus young men receiving more as a stipend, more as a grant, and continuing with the training and assistance. The NNP can go to these people and persuade them. No. Nope. Then you have 100 young women in agriculture. They come from families. They're not just individuals. They come from families. They come from homes. Then you have 100 young men, in agriculture, youth in agriculture. Again, another program where they're receiving training, they're receiving a stipend, they're receiving assistance, they come from homes and families. Then you have some other programs that the government continues, continue with. Then you have the WASH program. All right, the WASH program, where you have families, again, getting a modern bathroom and toilet facility, moving from pit latrine to a modern bathroom and toilet facility. Again, that's families. Families, and they move from Belial, they now into different communities throughout Grenada, and they move into Carriacou. This is no joke. Hundreds of people, again, impacted by this. Hundreds. Then you have the houses being built for people. 3,000 individuals received material assistance. They come from homes. They make up a family. Even if you multiply that by 4, you're over 10,000 people positively impacted. Because if you live in a house, the government gives you material or gives a family member material to repair the roof, to change the louvers and push up windows, to put a proper door, to fix the flooring and so, then you would appreciate the government more because they've assisted you directly. You have been impacted positively. That's what I'm talking about. The NDC cares about this country and the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Then you have the free tuition policy, where thousands of young people every year receive $800, $810. Because that's why they actually get in it. Because the government is paying that to TAMCC for them. That's a burden lifted from the backs of the parents. And again, you're talking about every year. You do the maths. They come from homes. They make up a family. Thousands of people impacted directly by this initiative. NDC cares about the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. You look at the pay and grade for the police officers. You look at the police headquarters. You look at the upgrade, renovation, and so on of police stations and so. They got the 13% increase, like other public officers and so on. What you believe? What you think? Those police officers will be more likely to support NDC and to want to see, they would want to see NDC remain in power. And they come from homes, they come from families. A constable, for example, getting $700 more on his or her salary. That's a big thing. That's significant. That's huge. And they come from a family, from a home. Look at the amount of scholarships given to the young men and women of our country. 100+ million. In fact, when we do the maths and we calculated the last time, 150 million plus in scholarships. And you're talking about hundreds of young people benefiting, getting scholarships. They come from homes. They come from families positively impacted by this. So you can go step by step by step. Public officers who are temporary for years. For years. All of a sudden, they're made permanent. They were acting in this role and that role. They are now prominent. They come from families. They are positively impacted by this. The minimum wage. You have so many security officers, so many waitresses, so many, people in housekeeping, in the hotels, in the Indian stores, the Syrian stores, the cooks, the cleaners, and we can go on and on. Laborers and so on, getting a better salary. They come from families and they're positively impacted. The free hot meal program in the schools, 13,000 students are benefiting from this on a daily basis. They come from homes. They're from families. You have the pilot school bus project. Again, just look at it. Just look at it. This thing is simple, assisting people. You don't need to be a genius to understand what the government is doing. The government is helping people so that they can have a better standard of living. Then you look at the creative industry, the creative sector. 100% concession for creatives, the photographer, the videographer, the artist, right? The musician, the people, in that field who do drama, storytelling, writing, and we can go on and on and on, who make stuff with their hands and so on, craft and arts and craft. And then you have financing given to them to build a business and to help them. Hundreds of creatives benefiting from this. Benefiting from government, from this government's initiative. Again, they come from families. Those in theater, and we can go on and on. So the government cares about people. About the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Look at their folks who getting roads in their communities. Roads being built in your community. And drains, not close to the election, all now. Solar lights being erected, installed in so many areas that were dark. Impacting communities, community centers being refurbished, medical stations being refurbished, playing fields being upgraded and lit, basketball courts and netball courts, the same thing. Just check it out. Check it out. Schools being built, and in some instances, the old ones being refurbished and upgraded and modernized. This is no joking matter. No, this is big. This is big. And all the social safety net programs remain. The debushing program that continues. Everybody who looking for the liquor fortnight, they still getting the liquor fortnight. Right? Or their contract. The seed program getting the $600 every month. For those who are a part of it, they continue to get that. The free textbook program, that still exists. The voucher, back to school voucher program, that still exists. And we can go on and on and on. On and on and on. And people are working. Look at the nurses. They got $500 more in their salary, $6,000 annually. The doctors, $1,000 more in their salary, $12,000 more annually. Come on. They come from families. They come from families. So that's the reason why more and more people are gravitating towards the NDC. And they are ignoring the NNP's message. The NNP could say all what they want to say. The people are not gravitating towards their message. And we can see it every single day. They have so many programs on radio and online, but still their numbers remain very low. People are not gravitating towards their message. And it is clear as crystal, as daylight. In fact, I had 4 young men here, and one said to me, well, when Sheldon Scott is on with Talking Points, because that's NNP main flagship program. Look, this is the amount of people they normally see viewing his program. 600 and 700 and 800 people. But then I said to the individual, well, let's go back and let's go and look. Let's go and look at the actual numbers after the man finishes program. Because there are people who do not look at your program live. And there are those who look at your program live consistently so. Right? But there are people in their own time, they would go back and they would listen to this program or listen to his program or other programs. So I said to my good friend, they're young, tech savvy. I said, check out Talking Points on YouTube. And they see the numbers. 3,000 something people, 4,000 something people, 3,000 something, 2,000 something people. That's the numbers. And then Facebook is a similar thing. I said, that's the actual numbers. The number of people who actually viewed that program, listened to that program. And then I said to them, look at my Facebook page or YouTube. And then when they saw the numbers, because they're young, they listen to programs and so on. And then they say, I said, yes. I said, 30-something thousand would view me at once. They would go back and check it out and listen to the program, follow the program. This morning we did a program here, and I am certain I did not even look for the day. This morning's program, I did not look on Facebook to see how many people viewed that program. That's this morning's program. I did not look as yet, right? And if I take a quick look at the program, I would tell you the numbers, right? So this morning's program, 16,200 people viewed that program. That's only on Facebook, 16,200 viewed that program, and that's only on Facebook. Nowhere else, right? Only on Facebook. That's a huge number. Anyhow you look at it. You don't need to be a genius to understand what I am telling you. That's a lot of people at once viewing the program, right? That's a lot of people. 16,200 people. That's a lot. So I am saying, and all you need to do is to just compare. Sheldon will do his program tonight. You look at his numbers, because I'm talking about just today. I'm talking about the numbers today. All right? Today. Yesterday I told you our program saw 19,600 people viewing. We in a small country, small population. So if you can get 16,000 people to view your program in 12 hours, right? 12 hours ago. That's a lot. That's huge. The program before that, 19,600 people. The one before that, 34,400 people. That's a lot of people. So people are gravitating more to the NDC, to the government, to our message, more than the NNP. Because why? Just look at the different demographics. They're happy. They're being assisted time and time again. Today, one of the young men said, well, the Ministry of Agriculture is borrowing chainsaws. You could rent chainsaws, rent tillers, rent this tractor, rent this, that. They know. Because one is interested in, farming and that kind of stuff. So people know, people understand what is taking place. So the different demographics, you look at them, they have been targeted directly and assisted directly. That is what you want in a country, you know. And that is why I said this morning, the Grenadian electorate, they do not vote for a MP in a constituency. They vote for a leader, the leader of a party, to become prime minister. And the NNP lost the election. And you ask yourself, but how did that happen? It happened because the Grenadian people were looking for newness, right? Newness. They wanted something fresh. They wanted something new. And the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and the NDC brought that to the table. All right? Brought that to the table. But besides that, Grenadians were fed up with Keith Mitchell and the NNP. Grenadians were tired with them. But you have to still understand, the NDC came from a place where they got, what, 20-something thousand people voting for them in 2008. No, 2000 and, not 2008, 2018. 2018, they got about 23 or 20, 22, 23,000 people voting for them. And the NDC was able to win the election in 2022 with 31, almost 32,000 votes. Almost 32,000 votes, right? So you talking about coming from a place where you had 23,000 or so votes, you lost, NNP won, right? And you gain 7,000, 8,000, almost 9,000 more votes over that period of time, just with the election of 2022. So it means, therefore, your base came out in numbers, and the people in the middle who not supporting NNP, not supporting NDC, saw NDC as the right party, the right choice to take Grenada forward. But the NNP is still stuck with the same old politics. They are not able to attract new people. No. The people who they put up as caretaker candidates or whatever they call them, these people been in NNP long. They've been in NNP long. You hear me? And for one, his father supported NNP long. He was NNP. And then you look at the others, same thing. Same thing. So they're not new. They're not new to the politics and the NNP. They've been NNP long. So it's not like the NNP attracted them and they come from, it's not like the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and Andy Williams and so on, and the honorable Andy Williams and the others. No. They were there, right? They were there within NNP long. And that is why they're not wowing people. They're not exciting people. There isn't a bump or this big jump or anything of that sort from them coming to the forefront in NNP. It doesn't surprise anybody. And that's the thing. They're not well known. They're not no national figures in nothing, really. So, look, the evidence is on the table. More and more people, home and abroad, prefer the NDC more than NNP every single day. The New National Party can't see the NNP in any way at all. Only today, about 6 Grenadians who are back home wanted to get registered. And I said to them, this is what you have to do. Go into the constituencies that you are from, where you grew up, where you lived, and go and get registered. And they were happy, very happy. So we have more and more Grenadians overseas than ever before who are coming back and who are registering to vote. We have 90-something thousand people registered to vote, Yeah. It's a huge amount of people. Right? Elections office. So you have a population of 100 and something thousand, 110,000, 100 and, what, 10,000 people, and you have 90 something thousand people registered to vote. To vote. Right? This is huge. This is massive. Anyhow you look at it. You hear me? Because people are getting registered. Every time you hear a person pop in Grenada for a wedding, for a funeral, for something, they're getting registered. So you have 90-something thousand people registered to vote. This is huge. And you would have a higher voter turnout next election. Because our NDC people are fired up and excited to go there and participate and vote. There are people who are already saving up money for their tickets and other things. They're coming back to participate and to vote. And that is what you want. You want to see that happen. And we have to encourage it. We have to encourage our people to register. Right now, the NNP, they're scared because they believe that election is soon. They're scared. They don't know what to think and how to operate. That is why they're rolling out caretaker candidates and all kind of thing. No. They're scared because the election, the next election, that is the real election. That's the election to bury the NNP politically once and for all. So people are excited. People are registering. People are ready to support and to vote for the NDC in all the constituencies. Because you see, some people underestimate, or not underestimate, they just don't understand how this thing works. So the police officers, for example, who got their pay and grade, they're not all from St. George's. They're not all from St. David or St. Patrick or St. Andrew or Carriacou or St. John. They are from different constituencies and they come from families. So the farmers who are impacted and got assistance, they're not all from St. George's. They're from the different constituencies. The public officer who gets to be prominent and so on, they're not from just this constituency, that constituency, the public officers. They're from different constituencies. So what you have to understand is that all the NDC candidates will benefit from all of these things that the government is doing. And that is why I say to you, people vote for the leader of a party and not the candidates in the different constituencies. Yes, you would have one or two who are going to vote and give a candidate some personal vote. You cannot run away from that. But generally speaking, people vote for the leader. And we see that our leader is liked and loved and appreciated. People love what he's doing. And I could tell you, everywhere you go, people ready. They're ready. And they are NNP who will tell you that they're impressed with the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell and the NDC administration, and they are willing to give them their vote. A gentleman called me today. He said he's 72 years. And he said, no matter what, as long as he has life, health, and strength, he voting for NDC. Yeah. And you're hearing that sentiment over and over and over expressed by people, home and abroad. But we have to continue to get our people registered. We have to encourage our people to, if your child, your youth turns 18, make sure that they are registered to vote. If you're in the diaspora, because remember, we have more people living in the diaspora than here in Grenada. And no one, yes, no one could stop you from registering as a Grenadian. As long as you are a Grenadian citizen. As long as you have a birth certificate, a Grenadian birth certificate, or a Grenadian passport, no one could stop you from registering to vote. No one. Because you're not a Commonwealth citizen first. You're a Grenadian citizen first. In fact, you're a Commonwealth citizen, but if you go to Barbados and you overstay, if you go to Jamaica and you overstay your time, you're welcome, they could deport you. If you go to the United Kingdom or South Africa, all Commonwealth, or India, all Commonwealth nations, and you overstay your time, they could deport you. Because you're not a Commonwealth citizen first. You're a Grenadian citizen first and foremost. That's important. Once you know that, you're good to go, So you go into the electoral office with your birth certificate or a Grenadian passport, and, you could have a proof of, residency, where you're staying, like where you're living. Maybe you could take a bill in the house. You don't have to be on your name. It doesn't have to be on your name. Anybody in the house, just to prove that that's where you're staying. And you get registered to vote. Nobody could stop you. None. And you have to ready yourself. You have to ready yourself. Because what we have seen is an uptick in registration in some of the key constituencies. Right? So we're seeing more people have gotten registered. And it's easy to compare. All you need to do is to go back to the amount of people who were registered in 2022. So I give you a typical example. St. Andrew Northeast, right? St. Andrew Northeast. The amount of people who were registered there were 5,362. St. Andrew Northeast. Right now, you have 5,693 people who are registered there. That's almost 300 plus, almost 400 more people registered in that constituency. So you have more people registering there. You look at St. Andrew Northwest, right? St. Andrew Northwest, during the election time, St. Andrew Northwest, 4,798 people were registered there, right? 4,798. Right now, you have St. Andrew Northwest, 5,065 people. So you're looking at another 300 and something people also registering there too. And that's just in 3 years, or almost 3 years. You look at St. David, you have 10,451 people registered now, right? St. David, in the last election, there were 9,866 people registered in that constituency. So you almost have an increase of serious increase here. So 10,451. So you're looking at almost 600 or so people registered in that constituency. St. George Northeast, you had 7,727 people registered in the last election in St. George Northeast, right? 7721, right? 7727, sorry. 7727, St. George Northeast. Right now you have 8,130. So you're looking at another 400 people registered. Well, 400 and something registered in that constituency. That's a significant amount. South St. George, we don't even talk about South St. George. You have 11, let me see. So you had in the last election, South St. George South, St. George South. You had 10,903 people registered in that constituency. Right now, you have 11,535 people registered in that constituency. So you're talking about 1,000 something more, right? Let me make sure I'm correct here. Let me look at the amount. So 9, right? So not 1,000, no, 600 and something more. 600 and something more. So that's right. So that's 1. Right, 600 and something more people are registered there in the South. St. John, you had St. John had 6,392 people registered. 6,392 registered. Now in St. John, you have 6,821. So 6,392, you're talking about a 500. Let me see. Let me make sure. Right? 500 plus people or so registered in that constituency. And mind you, you don't see that kind of uptake in registration during any non-election year. That is what is important. Huh? This is not election year. Election could be this year, it could be next year, it could be the other year, and going to the other year. Could be all the way up to 2027. All right? Late down in 2027. It could be that. But the mere fact that so many people are getting registered, it says a lot. It says a lot. St. Patrick West, for example, in the last election, St. Patrick West was 4,669. 4,668, sorry. 4,668 people registered there to vote. And now you have 4,916. So again, you're seeing an increase of a good 300 and something people. And it's across the board. That is what you're seeing. You look at Carriacou, for example. Last election, Carriacou was 5,414. Right now, you have 5,650 people registered there. All right? That's what? An increase of 200 and something people. Yeah? An increase of 200 and something people, a constituency as small as Carriacou and Petit Martinique. This is significant. And mind you, the people who are registering are not NNP supporters. You might have one or two. But the majority of people who are registering to participate in the election are NDC supporters, especially those who are living abroad or who come to Grenada in and between. Grenadians, born Grenadians, citizens of Grenada. And that is what is driving NNP scared like hell. You look at St. George Southeast. Last election, you had St. George Southeast, St. George Southeast. 5,413 people registered there. Right now, you have 5,653 people registered there. So again, another increase of 200 and something people. You look at St. Andrew, same thing you're seeing in St. Andrew. St. Andrew Northeast, St. Andrew Southeast, all of them, St. Andrew Northwest, all of them, 300 and something people, 400 and something people, and so on. Significant increase. But the people who are getting registered are not NNP supporters. No. And they know that. Because in any political scientist will tell you, when you don't have an election, you don't find any people going and registered like this. No. Nope. And look, they cannot just remove people from the voters list. Lazy. They can't. They cannot just remove you from the voters list. If you are registered, they can't remove you like this. No. It can't happen. All right? Once you are a Grenadian, once you're a born Grenadian or you're a citizen of Grenada, because you could become a citizen of Grenada, you have equal rights to vote and participate in our elections. Equal rights. If you're from the Commonwealth, you have to be here 12 months. That's a 1 year before you can register. That's if you're from the Commonwealth. But if you're a Grenadian, because you're a Grenadian first, a Grenadian citizen first and foremost, then you could get registered. All right? So the excitement is on the NDC side, not the NNP side. NNP supporters are not going to register in any record numbers. I'm not saying that some of them are doing it, but not record numbers. The NDC people are doing so more. Don't talk about from the 50th independence celebration to now. You're joking. That significant increase we have seen. NDC people. And we have to continue doing that. We have to continue doing that. All right? We have to continue doing that. So what you can do, if you are registered, all you need to do is to go on the electoral website, www.peogrenada.org. That's all you have to do. You go on that site, www.peogrenada.org. And you can search for your name. Search voters list. Search your name and your surname. Or if you have your registration number, then you could search that. So for example, I can search my name, Kem, K-E-M, my surname, Jones, Jones. And I search. You see, fine. And then they go straight in now. Kem, Kendon Jones, Grand Roy. And then you have my registration number. It's there, it shows up. And I vote in PD MO4. It's right there. It's not hard. You can see that now for now. So what you have to do, even if you registered and you don't have your voter's ID with you, you can just search your name. That's all you have to do, you know. Search by name and surname. And that's all. And once you do that, you're good to go. So you could be overseas. That's easy. It's www.peogrenada.org. or you just search PEO Grenada. PEO Grenada, and you're going straight on the website. So www.p, maybe I could even put it on the chat. That's not hard. I could just copy this and put it on the live. All right. So just paste that. So that's it here. That's the site. All right. www.peo.org. And you can search your name, your first name, and your surname. And it's going to show up. And it's going to show you where you're voting, what polling station you're voting in. So these things are not hard. All right? You can check it out. So it's www.peogrenada.org. All right? That's it right here on the screen. And you can search for your name. Even if you don't have your voter's ID, you could search it. Your name must be there. Once you are registered, your name must be there. And it's easy. Your name is there, then you can vote. All right? You can vote. All you need to do is to register. Both parties would get some days, I think it's 7 days or whatever amount of days, to raise objections once an addendum is published. But if you're a bona fide Grenadian and you register, they can't remove you. They can say, I don't know that person, so remove them. No. Nope. So don't worry, people, about this thing, about removing this one. All rubbish. Nonsense. Go and look for your name on the list. It's there. In the 91,000, how much people? Go and search your name. You hear me? It's simple like that. And don't be fooled about you see that on some page. Don't worry about that. Once you get registered, your name is there. And don't make nobody fool you. Take some time and search the list. You don't have to go physically in some place where they're hanging it up, in some shop. You hear me? You could do it for yourself. We are living in 2025. Look at how I just did it for myself. I am registered. Right? It's what it is. You don't need no rocket science. You just go there, put your name in, and you see your number, you see everything. You overseas, you're in Grenada, wherever you are in the world, you could check it out. Once you're registered. You hear me? And you would see where you're registered to, where you're voting. So do that. Take some time and do that. Don't worry what people say. These days, you go by the doctor, they give you a prescription, and you go in online and research your own thing for yourself. For yourself. You don't need the doctor to come and tell you. You're going to see the side effects. You're going to see everything. You might even get more information on what the doctor knows about your problem. So we are living in a technological age. Utilize the technology. Right? Don't just use the technology to mind people's business. Utilize the technology. Go and search for your name on the voters list. It's there. It's online. Go and pull it up. Good? That would be nice. And we set. You have a young person who turns 18 in your house, make sure they're registered. And you have to talk to them every day, every night, every hour. So they know when election time comes, they're going and vote, and they're going to vote early. You have to instill that in them. Because this election that's coming up is more important than the one that gone. Way more important than the one that gone. If you really want to bury NNP once and for all, that's the election coming up to do it. Keith Mitchell saying he getting blackout, it will be worse for a lot of these people. So organize, mobilize, do what you must do. Because we ready, We ready. You check out all the constituencies and so on. Serious movements taking place. Serious movements. So let's keep that going. Keep that momentum going. Once you come to Grenada for funerals, you come to Grenada for weddings, come to Grenada for, events, activities, and so on, register. Get your voter's identification card. Right? That's important. So, Maria Ashton Joseph, all you need to do is to search. Say you couldn't find mine, go and search Maria Joseph. Right? You have Maria Ashton Joseph. Is this your right name? And you're going to search the right thing. Once you search, you see it there. All right? Maybe the hyphen or the dash or whatever. You got to check that out. That's all. It's there. All right? It's there. It's not hard to find. Go, search it, and you're good to go. Your name is there on the list as long as you're registered. Once you're registered, it's there. So let's keep the registration process going. Register. And don't worry, people, all the nonsense about your name is removed and this happening and that happening. Just register. Just make sure your name is on the list. If your name is not on the list, you can't talk to me. Your name has to be on the list. Right? In preparations for when the time comes. Good? Yeah, so Michelle, well, one of my daughter turns 18 this year. She can't wait to vote. Right. So what you need to do when she turns 18, take a birth certificate and go in the electoral office in your area and get registered. All right? If you're living in Grenada, you're from Carriacou, you're from Petit Martinique, make sure you organize to go back up on election day to get the chance to vote. And we will mobilize and organize that for you to get you back up to Carriacou, as long as you're NDC, as long as you're voting for the NDC administration. All right? That is so important. And if you down here in Grenada, you're from Carriacou, from Petit Martinique, your child turns 18 and down here, organize them so they go back up to Carriacou and Petit Martinique can get registered. That is important. Not down here. Maybe you have a house here, but you have to make sure they go back up there because that's where the vote is needed. Always. You have to be tactical. So, for example, you're in the south of the island. Come on. You're from Carriacou, Petit Martinique, or you're from St. John, or you're from St. Andrew, some constituency in St. Andrew. You go and you get registered there. You don't go and get registered in the south. You understand the point? Unless you're from the south of the island, like actually from there. But you go in the constituency that your vote will be more important or importantly needed. That's what you have to do. Because if you're from St. Andrew, some constituency in St. Andrew, why register down in why register in South or in St. David or in the Northeast? You understand the point? Why register there? Think about it. It's a numbers game. So you have to, once your child turns that age, work with them, make sure that they are registered. It's important. It is a numbers game. And you have to push it in their mind. Speak to them over and over. Get registered. And if you have people around you, friends around you, and they're not registered, then you have a problem. And you have people jumping and waving and they bad for NDC, bad for the government, and you ask them, you're registered? You registered? The minute time they tell you no, there's a problem. You have to get them registered. You have to get them registered. And if you register, once your name is on the voters list, you don't need the identification card. When you come back, you get it. Because it's always there. It's always there in the electoral office. All right? Once you are registered. But if your name appears on the voters list and you have the registration, the ID card, that's, for example, I voted, but I didn't need to show my ID card to vote. No. My name is on the voters list. Kem Jones is on the voters list. I don't need to show my ID card to vote. No, that is not a requirement. It's not a requirement. What is required is that your name appears on the voters list. You hear? That is what is important. So let us continue Let us continue to get our people registered and organize. Because once election, the bell rings, we have to be ready. We have to be out there mobilizing, organizing our people way before. Plane loads of our people must come down and come back. The people here in Grenada, we need to go out and vote in numbers, in record numbers. You think you saw numbers in the last election? Come that election. Because there are people who really want to give MLNP and NNP a good cut skin at the polls. And they're waiting patiently. The people in the middle people, you have NDC, you have NNP. The people in the middle, they don't want NNP to come back in power at all. Not at all. So, folks, I want to wish you all the best. Remember, register, register, register. Registration is key. Registration is key. You hear me? Register, register, register. Because you don't know when the election will be called. Register, register, register. Your child turns 18, register. Register them. Make sure you come back here on vacation, you come back for an event, come back for a funeral, you come back for some wedding, you come back for some... Register. Don't leave here without registering. You hear me? That's important. So, folks, take good care. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning again on that journey where we share information, where we seek to learn together to know more about our country, what is happening here. And we love our party and we love our country. We love our country and we love our party. Take good care.